Hi, I'm Life Coach Landry, and the topic is 6 ways to spot an emotionally unavailable guy. Okay, I got an email from a client here, and she's asking, "Hey, Coach, love your videos, love your channel. Got a quick question for you. I hope you can answer it, and I hope maybe you can mention me on your videos." Here you are. One of the things I want to know is I've been talking to a man for about 2 months and I feel like everything's going well. However, I do feel a sense that maybe he's not emotionally available to me, but that could just be my feeling and I don't want to run a good thing. How do I know I'm looking at the right things to know how I feel and if they align with my gut instinct? This is actually a pretty good question, right? I think when it comes to being emotionally available, this is much more of a woman question than it will be a man, because typically women in general are emotionally available once you get to know them, whereas men, you don't know if it's a man trait or if he's, purposely got some architecture to the way he's going about things, okay? So, the journey of trying to reach an emotionally unavailable partner can feel vulnerable, intimidating, hurtful. But there's a key to fixing this issue, right? Because an unavailable partner is to catch and change course. Okay, so obviously I got your email, and I hope some other women out there are looking for some of this information. So I'm going to give you 6 things that I've come up with. I think that will help you figure this out. And that was from Janine 1375 XOXO. So I gave you a shout out too. Okay, number 1, they're always, and I do mean always, doing their own thing. So if you're only spending 1 or 2 nights a week with your partner, and they spend the remaining time independent, vacation, to straight up not including you, they might even be dating. But you might have what's called, in our psychology world, we call it the iceberg partner, who's constantly distancing themselves from the relationship, and they kind of brush off affection. Okay. Number 2, they avoid all their emotions, and doesn't mean anytime you talk to a man, he means you're being too sensitive. People say those things all the time. I mean somebody who they're just unavailable in the sense of mushy, filly stuff is almost a turnoff to them. Of any kind. Okay. Now there are men out there that they're not going to go out of their way to be all over you or make you feel like that. But if you come towards them or you lay on their chest or anything, they don't freak out. Some men don't want to cuddle for an hour, but they're comfortable to a degree. But the men who are emotionally unavailable, they typically won't even want to do that. Right. And kissing will not be a big part of their regimen with you. They don't find kissing romantic, and giving a kiss before you go to a job is awkward to them. That's usually signs of being emotionally unavailable by design. Number 3, they're always looking for faults. Now, I'm a little bit of I could be someone who believes in you should always have continual improvement, that there are things that, if you do, I'd be more attracted to you. If I do, you'd be more attracted to me. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the critic who always sees what you do in a bad light, that there is never a compliment. There's never a balance of, constructive criticism with compliments. Just everything is very critical, right? You make reservations at a restaurant, but they don't like the food. You haven't responded fast enough to their text. The apartment's messy. It's obviously your fault. People who are like that. I got a new job. Oh, that's great. Are you sure you're going to be able to handle that? People who think like that. Those are people who they're always looking for faults, right? Number 4, they're always holding up, kind of a metaphoric shield, so to speak. All right. We call them defenders, if you will. Okay. Categories are constantly trying to hide from any issue, rather than shutting off. Being full stop, or they're dodgy whenever there's a hint of conflict, or they just want to shut it down completely. When you express your worries, dedicated, they just find ways to, when you push them in any direction, it escalates quickly. Okay. Because it's obviously becomes very sensitive, very hitting nerves for them, kind of thing. So before you know it, you're in a full-on argument about something that should have been normal with 80% of the couples out there, but with this particular person, because they're not emotionally available, you're touching a nerve which makes them freak out. You know, it's like having a bad tooth. When you touch that one spot, you will jump out of your chair. Kind of the same thing. The next one would be they're scared to kind of really show you who they are. Okay, I'm a pretty open book. I mean, obviously, I'm on fucking YouTube, you know, talking about how I handle everything and giving advice about how to handle everything. And I practice a lot of what I preach. So I'm an open book. But everybody you meet is not going to be who they are straight up to you. They're either going to want to know you, become comfortable, and then show you, or they're the type that they're never going to be comfortable in showing you who they are. Okay, sometimes it's really not you. You know, it's one of those fear of the fraud kind of moments. So insecure feelings, if it's with them, they can't imagine that they have anything to contribute to the relationship. So they're very withdrawn emotionally because they don't feel like their contributions are going to be worth much because it's sensitive for them, right? That's why you're having so much trouble breaking through the surface. They don't really feel like they have anything to add. In fact, they probably feel that if they add something, they will damage the relationship, and they don't want to break anything up or cause ruckus, so they say nothing. Okay, and they're worried about being vulnerable in general. Okay, but I think the main one to go by is that they're rarely satisfied. And again, you got to separate this from perfectionists and people like that. This isn't the same thing. We're talking about emotionally unavailable. Perfectionists, they're usually saying everything out loud. That's being available. But if you feel yourself giving and giving, but you know you're getting nothing in return, and getting nothing in return is whatever version of what you need. You know, for one person it may be you don't ever kiss me when I leave. For another person it may be you never help me when I work on the front yard. You know, things like that. So there's no right answer for what. It's what you need, what they need, and if you guys are compatible and giving it to each other. But if you're doing everything that they've asked you to do, and I don't mean verbatim, I mean if you're in general being a good person, you feel happy about things, you're contributing, you're reading in between the lines. When you see something that's important to them, you're willing to talk to them about it and not just about yourself. That's being a good contributor to a relationship. But, you know, it's one of those, if they have a lot of emptiness, they're sponges and they have a negative view of themselves and they never feel understood. The world's never going to understand them. They're an inside drama case just waiting to happen. And it can be fucking exhausting with people like that. You know, everybody's dated someone who has drained their energy either because the person's just negative and always cynical or they weren't compatible for you. But right now, we're talking about emotionally unavailable people, and those typically are cynical, empty people, right? And those people need help too, but it's not your job in the relationship to work on that for them. They need to have that solved before they even get out and date, okay? So I'm going to recap these things for you. They're always doing something on their own. They avoid small emotions, all emotions, some emotions, but majority, they just kind of dodge any kind of question, all right? Number 3, they're always looking for faults. Number 4, they hold a shield. They're kind of the defender of anything. They never really want to be on the other side of the fence to talk to you about something. They're always just in defense mode about their life. Number 5, they're scared to show you who they really are. You feel like even though you've been with them a long time, you still have no clue, you know, what the hell they think about and what's going on. Good relationships are good communication. You should be feeling nothing like that, okay? And number 6, they're rarely satisfied, okay? So that should give you some kind of indicators whether you're dating someone that's just kind of unemotional. You know, it happens. There's unemotional people out there. There are not as many as there are, you know, people that fall into kind of the normalcies of relationship issues, but that's definitely one that if you're someone who's feeling like you're not getting something provided, it might be time for you to look elsewhere. Okay. So if you want to book a personal session with me, contact me at the email link below. And if you found this video of value to you, you can click on the donation link below, and I will talk to you soon.